down! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Espresso, and welcome to Vantage Point, a new series that I'm going to be doing for Call of Duty map, lines of sight, and tips and tricks and all that. Stuff that you're going to need to know pretty much to dominate the areas of the map that you want to, and take control of your opponent and just hammer down on them. Make sure that they have no chance of winning and that you're the dominant players. Now, I figured I would start with Uprising DLC because it's brand new on the block, and a lot of people could use some tips and pointers, and I picked up some tips and pointers of my own through playing it a couple times, and the gameplay you're actually seeing in the background is actually just demonstration work from custom games with bots, so it's nothing spectacular, and the gameplay that I have has a lot of kills because it is bots and all that, and it's easy to do, but these are just showing you the tips and places that you want to be at and where you want to control and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to jump right into it here right now. Some quick map notes is to note that this is a small and close quarters map with focal points taking the precedence over any other place in the map. It has a lot of long range sights along the outside of the map, but it's not ideal for sniping. But then again, there's always those jackasses that will still try to snipe, so my advice to you is just pick them off and piss them off to make them leave the lobby. The stage is definitely the center point of the map. If you're into firefights and close quarters, go there. I do highly recommend it if you're into that stuff, but if you want to play elusive and you don't want to risk your score streaks, well, then you can stick to the outside because there's so many lines of sight and cutoff points within the map, and that's what makes this map great, is there are so many of them. Cap the Flag is going to make use of mid-map perfectly. Now, I know I'm demonstrating this video in a domination game mode, but Cap the Flag is perfect for these lines of sight that I'll cover later on in the video. Under the stage is one of the greatest presences that you can have for a cutoff point in Cap the Flag or a mode similar, as well as the building sites surrounding B. There's a lot of cover that you can take advantage of. There's a lot of lines of sight that you can use to your advantage. The lines of sight that are available are great for pickup. The protection on the far edge of the map, they offer a lot of help whenever you're trying to take down an opponent that is maybe coming after you or you're chasing them down. The buildings also use them to your advantage because there are a lot of buildings that you can weave in and out of and that you can use to your advantage to get the upper hand on your opponent. Now let's hone in on some specific areas of the map. Let's start off by left side A, domination. There are many flanking routes here, and although it doesn't seem like it, you can use these to your advantage. Now, yes, there's only two main corridors after you go left side, but there's a nice pick-off spot where if you want to take them out, you can wait for them to wrap around, or you can just chase them down and use that little bit of bush area to your advantage because obviously they can't see you, and then you just take them out right there. Now, left side A also offers access to the stage. The center stage storage passage offers a great vantage point to go to a cutoff, as well as just flanking to B if you want to cap B, or if you just want to take out an enemy. Left side A also offers a lot of protection. Coming out of the restaurant, you have the ledges that you can take either prone or a crouch stand to and pick off enemies coming towards you, or that you are trying to hunt down. But also the barrier of floral gardens right next to you, it offers a lot of protection as well, because if you're waiting for somebody, say, to come from the far side corridor, then you can chill there and take them out. Now, vice versa to the left side of A, the right corridor along the right side of A, right next to the concession stand and also to the control room, you have a decent stretch of area that is open and completely vulnerable unless you take advantage of the boxes slash crates that are there conveniently for your protection. Now, these offer a lot of help. They can offer a head glitch semi, or they can also just be used to flee an enemy and recover some health. That being said, it is also extremely vulnerable if you cannot take advantage of that. As well as in concessions, concessions is wide open except for a few pillars, but it is again very open and vulnerable. So if you're going to rush through there, be careful that there's not a camper in a corner or somebody that cuts you off from the entrances from control room or the concession stand entrance. Now, possibly the most important part of this map is the B flag. B flag is the most open and vulnerable part of this entire map, without a doubt. But you can get full advantage of it if you take advantage of the places that I tell you. Let's cover the stage area itself. Now, the catwalk out to center stage is very vulnerable, and I would not suggest going there if you're going for a score streak or you're trying to play a kill objective game. If you want to go play objective and get B, then rush up to B and just say YOLO! But if you're like me and you don't like taking the chance of death every 5 seconds, then I would suggest staying to the portion of the stage where it's siphoned off, and also where it's right side stage where you can have a little bit of cover behind the crates. Now, this gives you a great vantage point of the open field of play in B, as well as the stairwell leading to A side spawn. That being said, you are extremely vulnerable to random grenades, open fire, and to be flanked around if you're not paying attention from the seaside entrance to the stage. Now, there's also a bunch of other on the floor areas that you can roam around and take advantage of if you want to do a kill horror type game. Now, the wood planks to the left of the stage, to the forklift to the right of the stage, there you have some presence if you want to control the stage itself, but not roam out too much into open area. But you also have to be careful of the storage passage underneath the stage if anybody wants to flank behind you. Now, if you're really badass and you're really living on the edge and you want to go out into the open field of view on B, you can always use the forklift right next to B flag, as well as the music equipment crates from the stairway leading to A side spawn. These will give you a little bit of protection, but you will still be vulnerable in essence, but you can at least use some cover while you're picking off your enemies in mid-map. Now, let's hit our final general topic area of today. The C spawn is, in my opinion, a little more vulnerable than A side spawn, and they usually, as in Treyarch, tries to equal out both side spawnings so that you have an equal amount of opportunity for survival and kills in that general area. But to me, Seaside spawn is a little more open. You have the stage 18 entrance to the stage looking directly at Seaside flag, and you also have the shrubbery to the right, which offers a little bit of protection for yourself and oncoming opponents. But then you also have the left entrance to concessions. So there's 3 big angle points in which you can cut them off, but then again, at the same time, there's those same entrances on A side spawn, but to me, that's a little more close quarters in A side. So C side, in my opinion, is a little more open and a little more vulnerable. So if you're gonna run around and try and cap there in the enemy's territory, I would be a little bit careful if I were you. Make advantage of the crates and forklifts in Seaside spawn, as well as use the corners to your advantage. Now let's jump into our final segment here. I have a few lines of sight that I think would be insightful for all of you, no pun intended, and you can take full advantage of them and pick off just as many enemies as you would think and you would hope to do without any risk, or at least a minimal risk, of death to yourself. The first one that I want to cover is the control room by A side spawn. This has a perfect window of opportunity to look out at B's flag as well as pick off enemies coming towards it. Now, this offers an angle in which you can be hidden to most, but also take out the long range sight of view towards C flag. Now, this serves as a great line of sight if you want to take off oncoming opponents coming directly mid-map. The only downfall is that you cannot see any opposing players coming at you from the right side corridor or left side towards the stage itself. Now, the next two kind of go hand in hand with each other. They are vice versa counteractions to each other on the far sides of the map. Now, from A side spawn, it's the left side. If you go through the restaurant, you'll see the little ledge there in which you can pretty much just set up camp there if you really like that. Or if you want to be a said sniper, you can kind of take out that long sight and hallway left side A. But also vice versa. On the other side of the map, you have the corridor leading to concession stands right after control room, in which you have the boxes, acting as a semi-head glitch, but that is still extremely open. The left side is a little more enclosed by the restaurant, but if you're willing to get in and get a little down and dirty, the payoff around right side A spawn by concessions is pretty good. Now, the second to last line of sight that I have for you guys is the exit/entrance to concessions leading to B. Now, if you walk out that corridor, it's really, really skinny, but it has a payoff if you're willing to get in the mix of things. Now, you can have an entire wave of opponents coming from C side or A side, depending on which side your team controls, but at the same time, you have B pretty much all in one angle of sight, and if anybody crosses you, you have a great potential of trying to take them out. Now, at this point in time, though, it would not be my favorite and most objective to take, because you can get taken out from C side or A side, or even from behind you from concessions in which you came. So this is more of a precautionary type thing where you need to know your surroundings before you take out the enemies in this line of sight. Now, granted, it still does work, but it is not the most optimal. Now, to finish it off, I think we can safely say that the stage storage room / corridor is one of the best lines of sight. Now, granted, this is going to take some running around and some ability to hold your own in a said secluded area of the map. And now, at this point in time, you gotta know, again, where your surroundings lie, because you can either be taken out from behind, from the left side corridor leading from A to stage, or you can be taken out from either side of the entranceways opening up from that vantage point of B. Underneath the stage is a great area to control if you can hold it down, and that is the biggest point that I need to hit with you guys today, is if you want to hold this down, you're going to need to make sure you have the firepower and the skill to hold it down. But if you do, then you're going to have a huge payoff. You're going to have a lot of kills, you're going to have a lot of objective assists, as well as be one of the top players in the lobby if you can hold this down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my time. Thank you guys so much. Please leave a comment, like, share to your Facebook, Twitter, and or MySpace if you are OG like that, and also let me know which map that you want to see next me diverge into and go in depth fully to give you guys the best advantages that you can on the maps. Now, I'm going to be doing these for the rest of the DLC, as well as maybe even going back in time and giving you the best tips and tricks that I know from even the previous maps. So that has been my time. Thank you guys so much for watching this full 12 minutes. My name has been Encore, and I shall see you guys later. Have a nice day and peace out. Bitches.